Hi, everyone. Sorry for the shutdown. I need a new phone. Working on it. What I was saying when the broadcast ended was being present with you is very important. I want to follow through because I was told, apparently I was talking for 6 minutes. No one heard it. Good morning, Wine Mom. How are you? Um, I want to finish what I was talking about there. I love you too. Um, I accept myself, it's all right. Um, Finish my thought. Riley, welcome on. What was I saying? Oh, yes, is that within society, things are shifting to a place where they appear to be creating individualism. They are currently creating just alternate forms of conformity. I don't think that's the end goal, and I don't think that's the end result. I just think because people have been conformist for like a very long time in human history, that conforming was how we survived, that it's kind of having a similar result. Whereas as we have these mind shifts, as evolution comes about within a way where there's 8 billion of us, humanity is kind of shifting to a place where we can be individualistic and still survive. Whereas before, standing out too much was a problem. Um, but those anomalies are essentially what create mutations. And you can take that on a molecular level, you can take that to a social level, and apply it to society as a whole and say people who really stand out, they have really good ideas oftentimes, or they have rather unhealthy ideas. And I think the majority of the public, the difficulty is deciphering who is who. Who has the ability to create change and who is simply inciting a riot. And I think oftentimes the difference in that is going to be how it's said. I have very big notions about the things that I think. I'm very accurate about what I'm saying. Well, Jessica, I will strip that back because Jessica says actions speak louder than words. This speaking is an action. That's a piece that I've been trying to communicate to people for a very long time that no one seems to get. I still stand by it. While some people are saying that my story changes, my story has really never changed. I literally say some of the same stuff that I've been saying for years. I'm still right. People just don't like it, and I'm like, okay. I mean, sucks for you. It's how it is. Like when someone talks, when you speak, you hear your own words. Your brain ascertains your own words. I've been stuck in my own loop for a really long time and only saying the things that I want to talk about, the things that I want to hear about. I'm learning to talk about the things that other people want to talk about. I'm learning that even though my own voice is really the only one I hear right now, it's no longer the only voice that I like. And it's no longer the only, like, my ideas aren't the only ones I want to hear anymore. Most people are very self-centered and their ideas are the only ones they want to hear. And I thought because I had a higher intelligence, then that meant that I was just different. I was pretty much just smarter, but staying dumb by staying the same way and not really engaging in other people's thoughts or feelings. I didn't really see it that way because just like everyone else, my world was valid and theirs wasn't. And I think, especially being smarter, people expected more from me and being capable of more and them seeing it. When I didn't deliver, now they're hurt and they're saying, well, you had your chance or you're not doing it. I am doing it right now, but I'm doing it in the best way that I can. I'm trying to communicate things that I know about. I just don't know. I'm learning how to do it, how to communicate my ideas, communicate the ways that I want to help. But right now, with people treating me the way that they do, really the only way I can help is by trying to better explain my ideas. Here's the issue with that. It kind of turns me into a philosopher of sorts, and usually philosophers end up with cults. And I don't want one. So can people just be nicer to me so we can talk about normal stuff? Because Kate and I watched the VMAs yesterday, and they were talking about whether or not they like nacho. What was it, nacho cheese or Cool Ranch? Like, do you like nacho cheese or Cool Ranch better? I'm telling you the truth when I say that's what I want to talk about. I'm talking about philosophy as a self-defense because people are really mean to me. So I just talk about the core stuff because I know it keeps them at bay. I want to talk about Cool Ranch or nacho cheese. I've changed. I don't want to talk about this anymore. But people are waiting for me to talk about nacho cheese. Well, guess what? I say, hey, I like nacho cheese over Cool Ranch. And people are like, just because it's flaming hot. Like flaming hot Cheetos? Chill heat wave? Says Prince Pricey. What does that mean? This is Cool Ranch. Awesome. Awesome. I like guacamole. My mom says. Kimberly says, I like guacamole. Sweet. See, do you see? I've changed. I mean it. I'm not. It's not about conforming. It is conformity. I say yes, because I do care about people, and I see that I've been doing it poorly. I have a lot of ideas. I do have a lot to offer. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I was real confused for a long time. All right, especially I had a lot of ideas in my head, and I kind of just lost touch with what was going on. Go for Rocky. Welcome on. How are you? Max says, I hate Cool Ranch. Okay, you hate Cool Ranch. What do you like? What do you prefer? Pop says Cool Ranch for me. Kate, what do you like? Cool Ranch or nacho cheese?
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. Cool. Yeah, me too. Unless it's hot, then I'll have do Cool Ranch. We have chili heat wave Doritos in the UK. I hear that Scotland isn't even allowed to have sugary drinks. That Mountain Dew is illegal. Is that it? That Mountain Dew is illegal in Scotland? Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms are illegal in Scotland. We have chili heat waves. And we were talking to an Indian guy yesterday, and he said that in his country, the only people that have bread are people who are sick in the hospital. That bread is something that most people do not eat. That's what he told us. And the guy is a PhD. He's a very educated man from India. Very cool dude. One of our neighbors. That guy says educational porn is conformity. If you want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. Hey, there's a lot of sick stuff out there, and no one's doing anything about it. There's a whole lot of people willing to speak out about it or against it while it's all still going on. And it's been my personal experience and kind of what I've seen that the best way to fix something is to do something about it rather than just fight against it. Because the more you fight against something, the more it tries to survive. Yes. It's going. Says go for hockey. Go for hockey. What kind of Doritos do you like? Everybody, what flavor Doritos do you like? The new Taco Bell Flaming Hot Taco. Sweet. You like Taco Bell, don't you?
Hello.
Kate likes Taco Bell. Kate has taught me to like Taco Bell. I like nacho 100%, says Mac. Sweet. Yeah, nacho cheese with some chips. Ugh. I'm going to ask, do you all actually hate it when I eat on camera? Just yes or no. If so, I won't do it anymore. Not to conform, but because I care about your feelings. But when I'm hungry, and people keep sending me food right when it's time to go live. But does it bother you? Like a lot. And if it bothers you a lot, if you could give me a 1 to 10, that would be very helpful. Thank you. Riley says, okay, salt and vinegar chips are superior in my opinion. Riley, I love salt and vinegar chips, and I used to hate them. I can't have them with a meal though. That's like a snack and watch TV for me. Do you like salt and vinegar cake?
Not
What are your favorite chefs?
favorite chef?
Yeah. You are so normal. I love it. I'm becoming normal. Caitlin is the first normal person to ever acknowledge my existence. Isn't that sad? People would love to look at me and say, like, hey, you're just exaggerating or you're whatever. No, I mean, why did I ask Kate on a date? She's literally the first person in my life to look me in the eyes and see me. I know how nuts that sounds. I get it. It wasn't delusion. I'm serious. People look at me and like I'm not there. But Kate looked at me and I was like, well, that's a yes. It's like, how do you know? You know I'm here? You ever see that in a movie where it's like a person that doesn't exist and then all of a sudden someone notices them?
Oh,
That's how it felt like.
in that movie we watched
With the
that
girl and-
she's invisible.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much how I felt in my life. And then Kate showed up, and it wasn't about getting attention because even the attention that Caitlin would give me was different. It was like I was just a human being, and it's not an age thing or maturity thing. I mean, other girls her age, while I was at the college, I mean, even them, it wasn't really, they have their agendas. Where Kate was just like, "Sup?" I was like, "Whoa, are you sure?" Here's another thing. You wouldn't know whether or not someone knows you exist. Listen to if you say your name. Okay? In sales, I was taught that if you say someone's name, it's a great way to win their favor because people love their name. And I don't use that just for sales. I genuinely I took sales skills and I flipped them for relationship skills because I want people to feel good even outside of a sales setting. But I learned that if you do that too much, it creates ill-advised attachments. Caitlin is the first person to ever really say my name.
Really?
You are one of 3 people that I can recall in my whole life that use my name. That actually, when they're talking to me, it's "Hey Jimmy," or you use my name in a sentence. People don't do it, not in the DMs. Now, here's the thing: haters do it to get at me. That's different. They don't know I exist. They're completely dissociated and using my name with the intention of maintaining my full attention. And guys, just so you know, I didn't trail off into some tangent because I have like a mental illness or something. This is my point. I know I tangented. I hope you guys are aware of this right now. I ran off into the abyss to have a different conversation because I want to. Okay? I love you. It's my life. It's something I wanted to talk about. It's also something I wanted to share with you. And because I'm the one pretty much running the conversation, if I want to flip, I can flip. And if you guys are having trouble keeping up or you don't like that I did that, I'm sorry, but I'm still very selfish. You know what I mean? And then I say I want to talk about nachos, but I talk about Kate and stuff. I want you guys to know that I'm okay and that I'm loved and healthy and that Kate's loved and healthy. That's a big piece that people have said they care about. And so, yes, I want to talk about nachos, but I also want to fill you in on some stuff. It's going to look bipolar. It's going to be back and forth for a while until we're to a place where, people are ready to just talk about Cool Ranch. But not everyone's ready to talk about Cool Ranch, including me. I'm not ready to talk about Cool Ranch 24/7. But that little tidbit, super helpful. Really appreciate it. We're going to talk about this a little bit, and then we'll jump to maybe the next normal question. That'd be cool. Yeah, there was a girl named Kelly that I knew in elementary school. She was an outcast like I was. And she called me James. I still remember the girl to this day. I barely remember anybody from my past or in school. And I remember this girl vividly. We were not really friends. She kind of creeped me out. But I remember her because she used my name. She said my name. My family didn't really, my one sister, I can recall that I felt identified. I think that has a lot more to do with me than anyone else. I'm starting to realize a lot more people said my name than. I'm really waking up here, people. I'm having a lot of finalies. I'm having a lot of realizations. The world that I lived in as a kid was so different than I think really how it was. Here's what I will say though. If some more education had happened and a little more emotional reservation, then things would have gone better. But you can't blame a 10-year-old for being distracted from reality. You know what I mean? You can't look at like a 10 or 12-year-old and their inability to perform, adapt, or I didn't perceive reality normal. And people were saying that was my fault when no one really taught me. And then they just looked at me and said, well, I had a problem. If there was someone with even, a partial education in the realm of psychology or even sociology, forget it, anthropology, for 2 seconds to look in my direction and say, oh man, this kid needs a little redirection. I need help. I need a redirection. I still need a little redirection, just not nearly as much as people think. All right, so Cool Ranch and what we got? What was it? Cool Ranch and nacho. What's another good one?
I like Fritos.
Oh,
And I like Sun Chips.
do you like Fritos? To anybody out there, do you like Fritos? I love Fritos. Do you like Fritos? Just a yes or no. Riley says, I mean, I like them, but I don't often get them. Why not? Where are you from, Riley? What country? I like Fritos. Probably spell that wrong. Yeah, Fritos are good. Fritos are my absolute favorite. Fritos are the one chip that if I dip it, I enjoy it less. Sometimes I'll do it just on purpose because I'm a rebel. Talk to me. Go for it. What's up?
When I was in like the end of elementary school, I dipped Fritos in barbecue sauce, and I thought it was a novel concept.
Was it good?
Yeah, but I'm saying like barbecue chips. I thought it was a novel concept. And I thought I was so smart.
I can relate. That's really funny. That's really funny. We were so sheltered. Yes, I do. Says truth prevails always. Yeah, Fritos are good. Fritos with chili. Says Cassandra Cole. I could dig it. Okay, here another question. Traditional Fritos or Frito scoops? Take your pick.
No, why is that still in there? I don't know.
Sandy says Fritos with French onion dip. French onion. I'm screenshotting that. I'll be able to hang out with everyone for a while, but once my phone gets really low, I'm going to have to throw it on battery saver and give it a little while. I'll be back. Prawn cocktail chips, crisps. Crisps is a word that just hits me. I'm like, because it's like a suave version of the word chips. Crisps. Kate, if you were offered at dinner, chips or crisps, which do you want? Chips or crisps? Crisps. Me too. It's emotional. It's like an emotional word. It's really weird. I'm really glad we don't use the word crisps or be buying more of them. Raven says, I live close to the plant where Fritos are made. Do you smell it all day? That's like if I ever had a hell, like if I die and go to hell, it would probably be outside like a Mrs. T's pierogi factory or outside a Tyson chicken factory. Like, and I'm not allowed to go get the chicken. That would probably be hell for me. That's where if I went to hell, that's what my hell would look like. Okay. Chili cheese Fritos, says Quinn. Sweet. Okay, I have to ask because I've never been accused of stealing. So okay, Kate, can I acknowledge this? This is okay. I have a couple people commenting saying that I stole something. I just want to see if they're completely reaching, if they're trying to reach at something that's like a lie and they're twisting it from something in the past, or whatever.
Okay.
I'm curious. If it's something that I already know they're bullshitting, that I could just move on my day. But I have to ask. Thank you. Because I've never had anyone in the comments just straight up say stealing. That word has never been thrown around. Because that's like straight up, I've never had that thrown around. So I am curious. Riley says, Quakertown, remember? Riley, I'm working on it. My brain has been turned to scrambled eggs. So, getting back on track. Thank you. Riley, if you stay in those, say hello every now and again in the DMs. I don't really want to talk to anybody, but just saying hello, reminding me you're there. That's where it's going to start for me with people, if I'm ever going to talk to people again. They're okay, says Pub. Yeah, the chili cheese Fritos. Walking tacos. Kate, do you know what a walking taco is?
Walking tacos are fantastic.
You like walking tacos? I can't do it.
Why?
Grosses me out. I don't know why. I think of I think of roadkill when I think of a walking taco.
Why?
Like, to me, it just sounds like the dirtiest down home version. Like, you go in the backwoods and you eat like I had a girlfriend once who I had dinner with her family. It's a really nice girl, and her dad fed us raccoon. We had, not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me, it was just a little too much. It wasn't, I didn't want it. It tasted interesting. I know a walking taco is just regular stuff, but it's just something about the presentation. I'm a bit of a snob sometimes. I'm not going to apologize for it. We're all different. But for me, a walking taco, I'm not turning my nose like I'm so special. I'm just saying it's the presentation doesn't do it for me. Just like gills on a fish, like literally ask Kate, I will freak. Like, I'm like, ugh.
I cannot handle gills.
If I see gills on a fish, I literally have like a panic attack. And I don't even know why, but it just grosses me out so bad. There's just certain things that get to me. We all have those. Oh, stole from a veteran. Okay, that didn't happen. Easy. Easy done. Moving on. Netherlands. Not sure if we get them. Hofstige. What is something you do get in the Netherlands that you don't get anywhere else? DM says there's new $1 kettle cooked jalapeno chips at Dollar General. I recommend. $1 cooked jalapeno. Kettle cooked jalapeno. All right, that's on the list. It's time to enjoy the pleasures of life. That's what I say. I might have to start doing some push-ups or sit-ups. That's okay. In the UK, they are crisps. We call French fries chips. Fish and chips and vinegar. I remember that was a song we listened to, or we had to sing in elementary school. Vinegar and pop. God, I had such an odd childhood. No, Monroe, I haven't been up all night. I'm just chilling.
We slept. I don't know.
I'm relaxed. What's up?
I slept very well.
Very well. Yeah, I slept very well too. People are not, I love it. I'm getting DMs on that too. Is the energy. My energy's like, that's me. I know sometimes I get excited, but that's like regular excitement for the most part. I'm off the crazy train. I finally chilled out. It just took me years and years. I'm going to say this one. It's going to be hilarious to most people. Do not take it as fact. Take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not saying that it's my truth. I'm just saying it's an interesting thought. Is Kate, when Kate and I made love for the first time, that was pretty much when I calmed down. That was when I began to calm down. And it's the reason I'm laughing at that, and I have to say it out loud, is because I cannot tell you, and you guys already know what I'm going to say, how many people said to me, like, you just got to get laid.
Yeah.
I've been told that for years. Everyone's just like, dude, you just got to go have sex. Like, you're hyping it up to way too much. I mystified life because I was taught to mystify life and leave the questions unanswered, and all it really does is just hype things up that are pretty simple, and it kind of keeps you from getting smarter. At least that's my. Were you a virgin? Yeah. Yep. Kate was my first, and God willing, she'll be my last. You know, if God has other plans, then God has other plans. But we can I say that? We were each other's firsts, and we love each other a lot. That might be a country bumpkin thing for some people, but it's big to us, big deal to us. So I love you. It's not nearly as a big deal as it used to be, but that's because life moves on and even bigger things happen. Oh, even bigger things happen, you know? Like Kate and I in our relationship, we've had so many milestones at this point that making love was wonderful and awesome, right? That first time. But we just have so many things within a relationship that we've, you know, hurdles we've overcome and great experiences that we've had that it's one of many. We say it that way. Is that more respectful? Love you. Yes. Life's good. And I have me some coffee. Oh, am I frozen? Yo, this is a life. The life costs a lot. It's very expensive. It's very the life individuality and actual freedom within oneself is, I'd have to say, the most expensive thing in America right now. I can't say it's the most expensive thing on the planet, but definitely the most expensive thing in our country is true individuality, separate from any outside influence. Anybody? Okay. Are you okay with me finishing off these blueberries?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Hola, compadres. I'm back. Yosemite asked, was the first time scary for you, Jim? That is something I'm not going to share because it takes Fritos, Bugles. Bugles are another one that I love. Do you guys like Bugles? Do you like Bugles? I'm not going to share more about our first time and things like that because it's very private. And on top of that, it reveals certain parts of my psychology that aren't appropriate to share with the public because they use it against me. This is something that happened in the past. Is I would share a lot of things about me. I would share a lot of things about myself that really put people in a position of power because they had a greater understanding and scope of how I think and what goes on in my head. And then mix that with, you know, their WebMD education, but like hypertensive and obsessive, and then think, you know, coming to try and control human life because they have like super heavy problems. So I'm just learning to conceal certain parts of who I am for the sake of survival because it's not free will. Like my free will, I'd love to share everything with you, but I'm tired of people having the upper hand of my own psychology, and then I go out into the public and I sound crazy if I say anything about it. Because most like people like that barely exist. There's only a few of them. But I know how to attract the crazies. That's definitely a fact in my life is I know how to attract the crazies. So I'm learning to be more careful with what I do and what I say. And I'm starting to attract normal people. Probably because I'm being more normal. You know? We attract what we put out. And I was being, even if I was not a criminal, I was still pretty out there, radical, you might say, with my behavior. I was homeless, saying I'm not homeless, talking about how I know all about the algorithms, which I still do to a degree. I'm just finally starting to talk about bugles. Because I want to talk to people who want to talk about bugles. Prince Pricey says America is so behind when it comes to chocolate. The UK has a strong chocolate game. I will agree with that. I had someone send me a box of someone had sent us a box of sweets from Scotland a few months back. And you guys, your chocolate game is definitely on point. Definitely on point. All right. Ferrero Rocher or chocolate peanut butter Easter bunnies from Gertrude Hawk. If you don't know what Ferrero Rocher is, they're like these little balls that middle class people buy because they want to feel rich. No, I'm a dick. I am such a dick. But I promise at this point, it is for comedy alone. Is it time to make jokes? Because I can now take a joke. Most people do not make jokes with me. They literally just attack me and then call it a joke. Okay? I can relate to that. When I was younger, I did a similar thing. I thought I was funny. And I would say something. It was just hurtful. And I think I do that sometimes now too. But the Ferrero Rocher thing, I mean, it's just a joke. Like I'm poor. Like I'm not middle class. So don't, hopefully it's not like a class thing where you get insulted. Let's just make a joke, right? Ferrero Rocher. I don't know. It's disappointing that I have to get smarter with my comedy. It sucks. I have to get smarter with comedy. Because now that I can finally make degrading jokes that are funny to people who are maybe on that level, now I'm intellectually above that level and people know it. So they're like, dude, you can't do that. It's insulting. Like, darn it. Like I finally get there. It's how my life goes. Like when I finally get where I want to be in that moment, everything from before, I never got to embrace it or enjoy it. Guess it's not such a bad thing. Ferrero Rocher is overrated, wrapped in gold. Personal opinion, they are class, like they're overrated for, how pumped up they are, but I think they taste so good. They are expensive, but I feel, Kate and I love them. They taste really good. Does anybody like the peanut butter chocolate stuff from Gertrude Hawk? It's the Nutella, says DM. I did not know there's Nutella. I thought it was chocolate. They're delicious. They are so good. What's that? Yeah. Thank you. What's that? No, I like it how it is. Cray, I'm going to say something to you. Something that annoys me so much is you had let me follow you back on Instagram for half a second. I didn't follow you because I realized who you were. I didn't realize you were one of my haters. You are extremely beautiful, and based on your posts, you are clearly intelligent, like beyond belief. It's very disappointing that you're so mean. But I get it. I get why you're mean. I can relate. I get it. Anyway, and just because I'm not suave or classy doesn't mean I'm not smart. Me acting like a dork to a degree is how I keep other smart people at bay. Because I don't trust other smart people. I'm a trustworthy smart person. But most other smart people I meet are like just a scarier version of the people I used to know. It's just like they're just like next level scary people. I don't meet a lot of good people. So, just being socially unattractive is a great way for me to just keep people at bay. Being lazy with my appearance, lazy with my verbiage, like staying looking dumb. All the fakes, they don't bother with me because they see me as less than them. Good. I don't want a 14-minute debate. You know, like I'm chilling. I don't have time to argue. And the easy way to keep them at bay is just chilling. I won't be doing that long term. I think it definitely is smarter just to, get more tactical, learn how to handle people instead of just running away from them. But man, people are scary, man. People are scary. Do you like coffee? I love coffee. Do you like coffee? I have way too much coffee. Love it. That was so iconic. She goes, "You like me, all right?" You remind me of this girl named Abby in my elementary school who picked on me because she was attracted to me. You are so attracted to me, it's obvious. I don't blame you. I'm a decent dude. But I think a lot of times the issue is that by the time we reach adulthood, the girls that find me attractive, they find me attractive other than things like this. And with Kate and I kind of started out this way, but like a lot of girls, it's they're looking for a dad. And it's, you know what I mean? My heart goes out to you because I can't even imagine. I mean, I know what it's like to not have a dad, but I'm not a girl. And I don't know if that changes things, but do you see how I try to be compassionate and I just sound like a jerk? This has been years of my life where I'm really just trying to connect and relate and be nice, and it never connects, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know. Like I was trying to figure out what can I say? And I don't spend my time around people. So it's not like I'm getting all that much more versed. And then people are mean to me because I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. Instead of saying like, "Hey, this is how you say it." Like, you know what I mean? Nobody will befriend me, and then they'll judge me. And then I stay outcasted, which really isn't a great place for a person like me to be, considering I do have a lot to offer. I'm being too noticed. You should probably help me blend in a little bit because I could do some really good things if we could figure out how to culture me a little bit. Just saying. Sunshine goes, "How precious people are mean to you? Of course, you're an idiot." Yeah, I don't want to be an idiot anymore. I don't want to be. I'm trying to change it. Doesn't happen overnight, and especially not with no one helping. American food sizes are so huge.
Yeah, they are.
Do you like my small? No, it's not small, baby. I love you. Part of the why I'm in love with you. You and I are so different. And it's wonderful. You know? Like we have our own ups and downs. And your downs are different than mine, and my ups are different than yours, and it's just a constant fun experience. Opposites attract, says Prince Spicy. I've never wanted to admit that was true. It's really annoying. But it's pretty obvious. It's actually a pretty good thing, I guess we would all say. Keeps things interesting. Thank you, Sunshine. Sunshine says everyone deserves a chance in life. Rice Krispie Jojo just said, she goes, "Be careful with clay," or "be gentle with clay." Max says, "I mean, opposites don't attract." Thank you, Mac. Mac, there's things that I do know, and I agree with you, but people can't handle it, so I've learned to shut my mouth. There's some things that I'll talk about, some things that I don't. The mass of the public And literally, like, studies are done on this. About 85% of the public believes that opposites do attract. So I keep my mouth shut. I know my shit, and I know I'm starting to learn what I can talk about when I can't. It's not about conformity. It's just like people can't accept certain stuff, so I just don't bother because it only pisses them off. It doesn't help, so I don't even like the things that I was saying earlier. I can tell that I can genuinely help with that, and I know enough that I can help. I just have to learn how to do it better. But the opposites attract thing is definitely not my arena, so I kind of I'm trying to stay in my lane, at least until I get better at swerving or switching lanes. Sunshine says, nice seeing you respond to people's messages too. Keep the good work. Thank you, Sunshine. It was hard for a really long time. It was very hard. I mean, we're talking, I would have hours where the only comments were kill yourself or you're a pedophile, you're a psychopath, blah, blah, blah. And people wonder why I went over the edge. They just never expected me to get mentally strong, emotionally strong. It's just physically strong. I'm not emotionally weak. I'm intelligent and in recognition of the value of emotions. There's a difference. I think there's a lot of smart people who do not value feelings near as much as they should. Most of them are men. Not being sexist, that's just how it is. Doesn't mean it has to stay that way. I think women toughening up a little bit and men getting a little more sensitive could be good for everyone, but that's my own social standpoint, not necessarily the truth. My dad's a part of that 85%. Yeah, most people stay together and they torture each other. Caitlin and I have a lot of similarities. We have more similarities than differences, which is part of what makes it easier. Like, how do I say this? It's easier for us to appreciate one another's differences because we have a lot of ways where we can communicate and get along. So we still struggle with communication, but a lot less than most people do. And especially in our situation, you would imagine it's not even possible to communicate. Most people couldn't. The way that we are makes it a lot easier. The things that we share make it easier to bridge that gap. But we can agree to disagree, right? Says Prince Pricey. I hope so. I hope so. I always wanted to be that way. I was delusional. I didn't realize that I was like so bullheaded. Now I see it clearly. Guys, you can't. I hope all of this teaches you that you can't scream at someone and accuse them and throw stuff in their face and expect them to get better. Like, literally thousands and thousands and thousands of parents and people and tried to reform me and change me and pressure me and force me into being a different person and growing up. A 19-year-old girl from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, who had no social exposure, completely changed my life. One little person. All right? Your punishment, attack behavior, your war tactics is not parenting. It is abuse. Let's wake up, people. It does not work. How are your children doing? Maybe they're financially successful, but are they happy? And if they are, then what are you doing here arguing with me? Okay? I'm not, like, either way, I'm not your kid. So whether you're right or wrong, you're still wrong because I'm not your child. You can have your opinion, but attacking me doesn't make you a good person or a good parent to me when you're trying to be my parent, because a lot of people try to be my parent. King of parenting. No. Just an extreme victim of bad parenting. I don't know what good parenting looks like. It's part of why I want to have a kid. But I definitely know what bad parenting looks like. You're right, your parents sucked. Facts. Even good parents have bad kids. No, good parents have bad adults. when they're a bad kid, guess what? It's called bad parenting. If you can't handle your child, get help. That's a huge cup, yeah. Like, until my child is 25, until my male child is 25, I can't speak for a female because I'm not a female. And I know that hormones and whatnot affect you differently. So I can't speak to that. But if I have a male child, I will do everything in my power, including ask for extra help from legitimate resources when I have the finances, to make sure that I raise my child well into an adult and help him off into adulthood in his way without giving him things or keeping him from them as best as I can, right? When I'm like 50, hopefully, I'd like to be a lot older because I'm stupid right now and I don't need stupid number 2 on this earth. Can you imagine? You want a detriment to society? Well, let me have a kid right now. Like, no, it's not going to work out well for anyone. Are you good on that post? Do you have that post for Buffer? I just got a notification for Buffer.
Yeah,
Thank you, baby. Yes. So, in my opinion, I'm responsible for my child regardless of what happens until they are 25. It's my own viewpoint. It's my opinion.
Wait, did it automatically just share it?
Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
No. Does it look like it did?
Well, it went away.
Well, go into past reminders, throw it back in the queue, scroll down to the bottom of the queue and click post now. Thank you. Got another one then. You throw them both up there. And Kate, look at me. Look at me. If it's breathe. Look at me. If it's a minute or 2 late, it's not a big deal. If it's 5 minutes late, it's really not that big a deal. All right? It's all good. Don't sweat it. Thank you very much for your help. Yes, I do have Kate look at me because she forgets that we are not in the past anymore because those triggers are still there, just like they're there for me. So I invite Kate to look at me and say, hey, look at my face. I'm not a douche anymore. It's all, things are good now. Thank you for your help. There's no pressure. Don't put pressure on yourself. I'm not putting pressure on you. It's not a big deal. If Kate and I are going to maintain our relationship, then I have to let my business fall to the wayside a bit. I'm 100% on board with that because I've operated poorly before anyway. At least I'm getting one thing right in my life. And I'd rather it be Kate and I than my business. So there we go. It's a good start. I want to say this too. Someone just said it sounds threatening. It's not. Here's the thing. I do come off intimidating and demanding sometimes, and like commanding. I am not like that with most things. Kate, am I that way with most things?
No,
When
you're
it-
gentle and tender.
I'm very gentle and tender. When it comes to my business, I get into business mode. My brain, and I'm sharp, but I've learned to become more tender and like be assertive without being commanding or intimidating. And part of that is communicating with Kate and like having the conversation about, where are my feelings when I sound domineering, right? What am I feeling? Because I think a lot of times where the miscommunication comes is when I sound so boom. When Kate and I were when we were in the process of leaving Wilkes-Barre, we met a man who was very domineering. He was very like, boom, and he seemed to be a good man, and he was doing his thing. And at the same time, he was just very like, boom, and he was quite intimidating. What? Oh, I'm not gonna dox nobody. Don't sweat it. Okay, I've learned to tiptoe.
Okay.
I have. He's very intimidating. Very good guy, very nice guy, but also very intimidating, at least to us. And It's nobody you guys know. He was a person from just regular real life and not involved in any of this. It was literally just someone passing by that we met, you might say. And it really gave me a great perspective on myself and my behavior. I didn't realize how manic I looked. I didn't realize how aggressive I looked. I had no idea. I had no perception on the fact that I was intimidating. And even if I'm not like intimidating, like I'm a big tough guy, people still thought I was crazy. And some people still think I'm crazy. I'm like, bro, no, chill out. I'm not nuts. Like, chill. You don't have to understand what happened to me or understand my former behavior to treat me like a human being. Like, chill out. Trust me when I say, if the things that happened to me happened to you, you would have gone off the deep end. But you wouldn't have come back, okay? I knew what I was, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I figured out how to handle it. And like, I got a message from a dude the other day, and he says to me, he goes, stay away from my family. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, first off, it's somebody I don't even know. Like, I barely know them, or at least I haven't known them for a really long time. Second, I'm thinking to myself, what? I did not realize how off the deep end some other people were about me. Guys, please understand, if you are someone who's genuinely afraid of me, that doesn't register for me because it's not reality, and there's absolutely no reason for it. And if you're someone who's actually scared of me, open a book. Do yourself a favor. Psychology, okay? Get a little more educated on this kind of stuff because you are off about me 100%. Watching television for education is not going to help you on this stuff. I'll also get messages of people who they will say that I remind them of some character on their television show. I don't even read, and I'm recommending that you open a book about psychology. Television is not your answer when it comes to psychology. Netflix is not your answer when it comes to psychology. If you watch these things and you take, if you receive content you're watching as more than entertainment, you've officially lost. Even if the show you are watching is educational, on some level, you have lost. Any production that you consume, it is engineered for entertainment. It is made to be entertaining on some level, which is going to include some level of social manipulation, psychological manipulation, or psychological engineering. It is engineered to grab your attention, which includes oftentimes different elements of psychology that are going to direct the way that you think. That is not society's fault. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact, and a fact that people just want to ignore or call a conspiracy because there's bad people out there. It's called business and marketing. And if you don't like it, just get educated on it and then don't succumb to it. You know, I used to do the same thing. I would get affected by stuff and I would just complain about it and then get mad. You know, and be like, oh God, it's the powers that be. They're blah, 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 blah. Look at, I'm getting educated. If something on the TV is affecting me emotionally in real life, causing an issue, or I'm getting too much sucked into it, I just shut it off. It's not healthy for me. I'm engaged in it. It's a glitch. Sometimes hashtag roundup will just go. Because if I don't, hashtag roundup oftentimes will. If you don't know what hashtag roundup is, I definitely recommend it. Super cool. Hashtag roundup is an app here on Twitter, and it's like a community. And then there's different people that run communities, and then they throw hashtags out there, and then you have to like latch onto the hashtag and make a cool like quote or hashtag. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's pretty much the only thing I like about Twitter right now. Other than Periscope, I love Periscope, but I don't really engage with Twitter much. It's like at least within the realms where I'm affected, people are like very negative towards me, and also I. It's hard for me to find out. Okay, I'm gonna have an honest conversation about Twitter right now. My standpoint. It's very difficult for me to find enjoyment on Twitter. Here's why. I don't see a lot of original content. And I'm also starting to see that on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram and I don't follow you back, it's one of two reasons. One, you are not posting your own stuff. I actually am interested in seeing your life and like what you're doing. I don't follow people who post other people's stuff. Ironically, even if you post mine, right? Like I'm not interested in regurgitation or aggregation. I want to see you. I'm interested in you. That's why I'm following you. That's me. That's just me. Other people like to do that stuff. That's fine. But me as a person, I like to follow people that are that's what they're sharing, or like they have their own art or whatever it might be. Funny enough, I like following other creators. I like following other people who do what I do, or I like other people who are just sharing their life. Another thing is just if it's private, I've officially learned my lesson, because what people were doing was people would follow me. Like, no joke, this is how far people will go. I'm learning so much about how what people do just to like thwart someone else. And it's super interesting. People would have their profile private, and so I would click follow, and it would say that it's private, and I was to follow them back, and a whole bunch of people would do it, and knowing that I'm a nice guy, I'm trying to follow people back, and then they would leave it on the request, and then they'd report it, and then a whole bunch of people would report it at once, and then nothing would happen to me, but it would stop me from being able to follow people for like a couple of hours or a day or whatever. So if you are just posting your own content and doing normal stuff, then I would like to follow you back. That's what I do. Unless I'm uninterested in your content, then I probably won't follow you back. But otherwise, I follow pretty much everyone back. And people who are nice to me. Like if you're just posting stuff about your regular life and I don't find it interesting, but you are a nice, normal person, then I'd probably like to follow you back. And this isn't me saying I'm so special. I'm literally just sharing with you who I am and how I do things. Most people don't do that. But I'm not being a narcissist by letting you know how I operate as a person. This is literally me just telling you. Like, I could have this conversation with you in real life. It's the same thing. Like, hey, dude, what do you post on Instagram? Oh, you post that? Okay, well, we don't have to connect. You don't have to follow me, but I just don't, this is how I do things. I'm starting to realize what a dick I sound like. I don't have real social interaction. This is why these things happen. It's hard to be around people, though. Because most people are just like, I don't like them. I never did. I blame my mom. Now I blame myself. I don't blame Kate. I didn't realize how terrible I sound. I can completely understand if it's hard to believe that I have been this naive. It is fact. That naivete, mixed with constant social embarrassment, created an attitude of denial. Sorry. Maybe you should have just been nicer to me. Maybe politely called me out on my BS. What's up?
The photo change.
Can I see?
That's somebody else that was me.
Oh my god! How's that feel? Isn't that so cool? How do you think I got so into it? Because it's like when you learn how to do it, that's pretty cool. You realize that is international. That means anybody who looks up that airport, the first thing they're going to see is your face on Instagram. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. And we did that together. Yeah, it takes work. It's not just about posting. Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. That's why I enjoy it. If it was simple, it would bore me. I like that it's complex and that it takes work. I would screenshot that for sure. It's not vanity. It's being proud of your work. Caitlin has two photos from Wilkes-Barre Scranton International Airport in Avoca, Pennsylvania. She has two photos on Instagram that are featured in the top internationally for that location. Did you check? Also check the hashtags. Check and see if you're featured for hashtags, because the second one I tried to make a little more graspable, you might say, a little easier to get featured on. For the photo that you saw at the top of the location. That gets you no money. We're gonna rephrase that. That gets you no money is actually, I do not make money on that. You're accurate. Words matter. Shop to Drop goes, it's about being famous. It's really not. That's the result, and the result's pretty fun. But it's just like, this is my point. People do not get me. It's about a game. The social media, like the algorithmic part of it for me. It's like it was the first when I did not have social perception. I didn't see the value in social interaction and in involving myself with people. I found that in social media. When I began to understand the algorithms, when I recognized the numbers, when I saw the waves and the patterns of how people interact online, I thought it was such a big deal, and I was so smart, and nobody else saw it. I just did things backwards. I figured out this first, real life obviously should come first, but my real life was shit, and I saw a way out of it. And I thought that wherever I jumped to, that someone would catch me and say, hey bro, you're impressive. Let's take you under our wing. And too dumb. That's all right. Figuring out life now. Got some major skills in social media, and it's a lot of fun. It ain't about the fame or any of that. I don't fucking care. And the people who do care about that are usually the people who don't get it. Temptation can lead us off the track. You've seen that with me. Staying focused, keeping the numbers about the numbers, right? That's, you don't like compartmentalize. Don't make the numbers about money, and don't make the numbers about feelings. I made the numbers about feelings because I started to get views and I felt powerful. I started to get featured and I felt powerful. I let my feelings take over my behavior. And it may not have led me down a track that is going to hurt me indefinitely, or a track that's going to hurt me, well, really even in the moment. But it led me down a track where I was hurt. And that sucks. And essentially, I did that to myself. But what I didn't do myself was a hell of a lot of other stuff that went on. So, yeah. It's over now. That's not even funny, bro. That comment is literally terroristic. You don't get that? Like, that's like, people don't get it. I used to say this stuff to people. I can't tell people anymore because they literally just don't care. Somebody was saying something terroristic. Literally said a comment that would be flagged for terrorism. Like, guys, don't, like, retract, refocus, regroup. Don't care. You don't care about the wrong stuff. Personal opinion. I don't care either, but at least the things I'm not caring about are normal. Hey, Seraphim. Yeah, we're safe. We're doing really well. How are you? Right now, I am not doing interviews. Thank you, though, because first, when someone offers me an interview, I completely distrust that because I'm like the last person that anyone would want to interview. So, I mean, clearly. And if they do want to interview me, some of the things that I say seem like I might be like a conspiracy type guy, and I'm not. So, until I help get the image about me much more clear, so that people don't misunderstand, I'm gonna just keep to myself and Kate and our healthy immediate environment, and then the internet will have its day when I know how to tackle all these people that I don't know how to handle. I don't. I finally admit that I don't. I tried handling everybody before I could handle one human being, the person in the mirror. Internet comes last. So that's a healthy decision, and I hope other people take from that example. How are you, Randy? Anytime, Rice Krispie Jojo. Jam goes, I understand. It's not about that. I wanted to help you get in front of this story. I'm clearly in front of the story. I am the story. So I'm not proud of that. I'm not happy about it. Me talking about it more isn't gonna make me any more in front of it. You know, people that look at me for face value, and hopefully I have an opportunity to explain myself better. My lack of trust of people who say they want to interview and whatnot, it doesn't have to do with avoiding things. It has to do with I've done that kind of thing in the past, and people just they know I'm like gullible, and so they slight things in a way that they want. They tell my story the way that they want to, and they bury me on some front because I said something that upset them. They just want to silence me, and they do it in a way that looks suave, and they do it in a way that makes them look legitimate and me illegitimate because I emotionally piss them off, and they take it into a business setting and use their business to carry out their emotional vendettas. And while people tell me that business life and personal life are separate, it sure as hell looks like we are in a country of a lot of people who are extremely unprofessional and then claiming professionalism by utilizing emotions to get their way. So, I mean, I'm doing exactly what I'm told. Compartmentalize. Business is business, personal is personal. I'm keeping it that way. That's what I was told to do my whole life. And so one of the things I didn't do. So no, I'm not interested because everybody's emotional. You know, yes, my personal life was shared on screen. That was a mistake. Yes, I did. I behaved poorly with my girlfriend. That was a mistake. Those mistakes are over. Life is good now, and we're going to keep it that way. And anybody who hasn't caught up yet, they're the ones that need to catch up with the story, not me. People keep telling me I need to catch up with the story. Bro, this is real life. Somebody knocks on my door. The only thing they're going to see is a healthy, happy couple, and possibly they'll be looking in the window at things that they don't that they should be paying to see or that they shouldn't see at all. I love you. So yeah, I am in front of my own story, and the people telling it, I mean, they're lying. So that's kind of how life works. When you have degenerate people who want to take something out on you because they don't like themselves, that's the game that they play. I don't play that game. And if I'm forced into the game, then I will do it in court. Like I will do it in a legitimate adult setting. I'm not going to play a game on the internet with a bunch of children pretending to be adults and trying to make money on feelings. That's just irresponsible. and I'll probably lose. But I'd rather lose in an adult setting than make a fool of myself in a setting full of children acting like pretending they're adults. And if there are adults on social media, it would be nice to be introduced to them because I don't see any currently within my immediate environment. Let me make that clear. Me included. So I make that clear. Me included. I'm not much of an adult. I'm adult age. But for my level of intelligence, capabilities, things that I know, people that I know, resources, there should be so much more going on for me right now. I was ill-equipped. And I was taught poor behavior. So I exhibited poor behavior. And so now I'm sitting here with nothing. So guess what? No. There's no. Kate laughed at that. No. Best I got. No. Thank you for the offer for the interview. It does mean a lot. Why am I so defensive? Because I am so sick of the behavior. But people are sick of mine too. I'm actually trying to get better. That's why I'm so reactive. I hope you see that. And I hope that my behavior right now proves my PTSD. It proves what's been done to me over and over and over. I was not reactive like this in the past. When someone wanted to talk to me, I was in the DMs having a conversation. Now, if someone wanted to have an interview, I did turn that down. I was always, no, because most of the people who were offering me interviews back then were no. And whether or not people today are legitimate who are offering me interviews, it's not, I don't trust it. And it's literally not my fault that I don't trust it. It's my choice. It's my choice. But being 80% emotionally slighted away from those interviews because of past trauma, that's called not being my fault. It's my responsibility to make a choice. But the fact that I'm forced into a position to make a super ill-advised choice either way is just proves negligence of society. I'm stupid. I agree. People never expected me to look in the camera and say I'm stupid. I also say I'm smart because there's some ways I'm really smart, some ways I'm really stupid. I'm imbalanced, but I'm not bipolar. And that imbalance has a lot more to do with a lack of education than anything else. And if I would have went to school, I would still not have that education. Trust me, I would not have absorbed it. I didn't see the value in traditional education because I was dumb. I had a lack of perception of life. I now see the value of that traditional education. I have been led down a rabbit hole so far that I couldn't go to school if I wanted to because I'm that prideful. I'm that like distrusting. Not my fault. I now see the value in traditional education. I feel emotionally trapped that I cannot engage in that system because I have been so heavily socially rejected that just being around people oftentimes, I feel inhuman. I feel like I'm not even a person because I've been treated that way. I'm not going to react. I don't fucking care. But it's very hard to have social relationships when you're constantly treated like a criminal, accused of being a criminal, having people make shit up about you all the time. I'm not just sitting here and complaining about it anymore. I'm finally just getting forward. Actually am, because as we're sitting here talking, content is also being made. Thank you, Kate. We're working together. So we are getting forward. Even if it looks like I'm not, it's not the only thing happening. I'm going to share with you something else. 2017, 2018, still was not the only thing happening because I was sitting here on the screen with you while I had another phone in my hand, if we all remember, with another phone in my hand while I'm posting on Instagram, while I'm preparing and curating content. I was doing it by myself. I was doing very well, and it pissed people off. So they literally attacked me and committed crimes against me just to stop me. Well, next time around, in a couple of months, when I have that income, I'm going to be sitting cushy somewhere where no one can bother me. Caitlin can just lay butt-ass naked on the bed if she'd like, or she can go in the garden or do whatever the hell she wants while I do both things by myself. Because I love it. And it's fun for me. I'm really mad about how I was treated. But I'm finally ready to forgive you. I'm just waiting for you to forgive me. But some people never forgive me for just being a jerk. One thing went wrong. One thing I legitimately did wrong. It's between Kate and I. Most of the other stuff has been emotional bullshit that people hyped up and gaslit because they don't like me. And then everyone else bandwagon around it because they don't like me. And they think that popular opinion decides law. No, popular opinion can change law. You're trying to change the wrong laws. And it's not going to work because the mass public knows what they're doing. And the people in this little world who are against me do not realize how small they are. I know that bothers you, but your opinion does not make fact. And there's a reason why most people don't agree with you. And no matter how big you blow this up, it doesn't change the facts. It may incite an investigation, but the only thing you're going to do is tear up and expose, which isn't a bad thing. You're going to tear up and expose a whole bunch of pedophiles, scammers, and woman beaters. Maybe that's not so bad. And if I'm the scapegoat of that cause, as long as I make it out the other end, I'm starting to consider being on board with it. So, do as you please. I'm finally not being gaslit anymore. I'm finally waking up and just taking a look in my own mind and thinking back. And I had to think back a lot because I was manipulated so heavily that I started to confess to things I never even did. And even now, sometimes I'll say like that I did stuff or there's certain things that literally are not even me. And I care about people's feelings so much that I want to just like, I want to admit it. I want to be like, oh yeah. And I've been brainwashed like a puppet. So I'm coming out of that, which is awesome. And a piece of that is remembering my direct messages in the past, because one of the biggest things that I've been accused of, because people are freaking crazy, is stuff with kids. And the more I think back, the more I remember, okay, what are people accusing me of? Sick stuff. How do I know whether or not that actually happened? Well, first off, I'm me. I would remember. What do I remember? What don't I remember? I remember having plenty of conversations with people. I also remember that I was the one person keeping it kosher. I can recall by name three girls that two of which were trolling me and catfished me, and one girl who nobody even knows about, who was a woman. She's in her 30s. Oh my God. Seriously, I wish I would have taken this woman more seriously at that point in my life, because I was just a scared guy. I was like a kid, but I'm pretty sure I fell in love with this woman. I'm serious. She was awesome. She fell in love with me too. She's a good woman, and nobody even knows about her to this day. But it was a great situation. She was so good to me, real nice. But it was just an inappropriate situation, and not because of age or anything weird like that. It was just like situationally it didn't match up and it wouldn't work. So, funny enough, sometimes you get feelings, and feelings can actually get in the way if there's other agendas involved. So it didn't work out, but there were two other situations. Both of them were catfishing me, and like I did not really talk to any other girls beyond that. Now, 2016, different story. Now they were all of age, but they were awesome women that I had met and spent time with. Now, here's what I didn't realize. Like I said, I was very socially unaware, so it never registered for me just how emotionally involved these women were. If I had known that, I clearly would have been more sensitive. But I'm not some jerk. I seriously was that stupid. I didn't see it. And then it's like we would get involved, and then at the end of it, whether it was a wine night, I haven't had sex, but just I hadn't had vaginal sex, but there was a lot of other stuff, right? Good morning, Amanda. Um, but I didn't know. And then the morning would come and feelings would be hurt, and I'd be so confused. I'd be sitting wondering, why that's stupid. I'd be wondering, like, what the hell happened? What did I do wrong? And I think on some level, I knew it was just, I think it had a lot more to do with my own lack of self worth. I didn't believe them. It's like they wanted a relationship with me, and I didn't believe it. I was like, no, 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 you're confused. You don't know me. And so I would just run away from it. Keep positive. Thank you, man. I am keeping positive. I'm enjoying delving into this and just getting through it and really hashing things out because there's a lot of accusations that have been thrown. So me being able to just pass through it and figure out what was real and what wasn't helps me to be able to come to peace with it, move on. So yeah, any accusations of me having any interaction with anyone under the age of 18 is completely preposterous and a total lie, period. But that's something that I've had to work through because when people say something like that about you once, it's one thing. But when they make a change.org petition and literally make an entire TikTok account accusing you of pedophilia and repeated abuse, when people say crap about you, I know they say, well, don't believe it. Find a way to block it out or quit. Find a way to get through their lies. Don't focus on them or quit. And yet, I mean, for the sake of your mental sanity, if you cannot handle it, quit. I figured out how to handle it. I do not recommend anyone ever let things go as far as they did in my life to get to this point. It's inappropriate. It's wrong. If you knew how out of control of my own life I was and how my brain had been made scrambled eggs by other people at that point, then it would help you to understand how I've been able to recover so quickly and also be even better than I ever was. Like I said, there's several aspects of that. Leaving the physical environment, that was super unhealthy for me. The physical environment was unhealthy. Removing all the toxic people that were unhealthy. Leaving a religion where I had been essentially indoctrinated into a cult. And I'm not saying the Christian religion or the Catholic religion is a cult, but it was essentially enacted to me in a cult like fashion. It was taught to me in a cult like fashion, where the woman was the center of the universe and da 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 da. You don't even want to know. It's average stuff. It's regular stuff. Unfortunately, it's pretty common, but it is culty. There's just a lot of things that really were holding me down. And the last piece of it was admitting to myself that I had been raised by shitty men and that I was a shitty man. And being shitty isn't always about just one's behavior. You can behave well and have a shitty mindset and treat people poorly in a different way that can go barely unnoticed. But when your entire town hates you, and I'm not talking about me, sometimes maybe it's time to wake up. So I'm waking up. I'm moving on. And like I said, the last piece of it was looking Kate in the eyes and just saying, okay, I love this woman. And she's normal and healthy. And I'm going to tell you guys another piece of this. This is going to be real, real weird. It's a piece that I said I don't know if I was going to share, but I'm deciding to share it. Is where I was born, like where I was an infant. It's a place called Wapwallopen. Yes, yes, Kate, because they need to know that I do not believe it, and I am not like. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that they're in recognition that I'm not in psychosis. I was born in a place called Wapwallopen, Pennsylvania, and but not born, but like I in my infancy I was there, and in Wapwallopen there was a man who was one of the youngest graduates of Harvard University. He started a cult called the Cult of the Kata. It's a very interesting man. interesting in some unique ways. And it was based around the Egyptian god Bastet. And he essentially had women around him in fishnets and boots, and it was like, like just think about the most trippy. Oh, think about the most trippy situation you could think of, and where this guy was like the most trippy chauvinistic situation. And how do I say this? I mean, we're talking about he had tunnels throughout the town. He had a like a library of thousands of books. He ran a prenatal or something. Like he helped birth babies. That's what he did. It's like he helped birth babies. And it was Cult of the Cat, right? I lived in Wapwallopen. I was a baby in Wapwallopen before I was put into foster care. I'm going to share with you something. Caitlin's name is derived from the word cat. Okay, Caitlin is a derivative of the original etymology. It is cat. Oh, this is just trippy shit. And no, it doesn't line up. This is my point. It's the point I'm making. It doesn't line up, but it is almost perfect, and it is creepy as all hell. It's beyond creepy. But how much it lines up is just creepy. And I don't correlate it. I don't correlate it with my real life. But for any of my I can relate to the conspiracy theorists out there. I want you to hear this because it is freaky. And the reason I'm revealing it is because I don't want a conspiracy theory based around me. And I know that one day, because I'm future-proofing this, there's going to come a day when we will be very successful. I do not want any people relating me to any weird crap like that the same way that Taylor Swift, I've heard is Taylor Swift is related to, they box her in as, what was it? Was it LaVey? There was a Satanist female that people say Taylor Swift is her, like reincarnated. Like, people need to chill. So what I'm trying to do is share this so that in the future, people are not associating me with any weird men who are surrounded by women in fishnets, okay? In a cult. Because my luck, one day, there'll be like, we'll be putting on like a performance or something at a casino, and it'll be women in fishnets or something, and then some crazy dude in the audience. Like, these are the fears that I just had the most unique fears, okay? Because I've met crazy people. Okay, I'm not one of them. I thank God. I really thank God that I was introduced to people who have, some pretty heavy legitimate mental illnesses, and people who some of which are illegitimately dangerous, because people had been calling me those things. Seeing them, meeting them, showed me that I'm not one of them. So thank you for bringing crazy into my life, because you showed me I'm not crazy. And you showed me that I don't have a mental illness. Not that all people with mental illness are crazy, but if I use the word crazy, we're referring to someone who is malicious and suffers mental illness. Do I have compassion for that? Absolutely. But there is a choice to be made. Are you going to commit to ill-seated behavior, or are you going to find a way to heal? Or are you going to just turn yourself in and, how's it going to go? But like I said, for me, the word crazy, we can't take words in the English language, because even before I had said, I'm like, don't use the word crazy. Like, no word is a bad word. We should be more careful with what words we use and how. And that's what I'm learning how to do. So now some words, of course, I go on all day, but at this point I'm just explaining myself in circles, because I don't want to explain. I don't really want to tell you all that much, but I have to future-proof this. I could just keep running from it, but then one day someone's going to like shoot me thinking that it's true or real. So this guy, he had his own cult called Cult of the Cata, and Kate is derived from cat. Karen is, for anyone who knows me and knows things about me you shouldn't know that I never should have talked about. Karen is derived from Kate, which is derived from cat. Catherine, also someone formerly in my life, derived from Kate, derived from cat. Kathleen, derived from Kate, derived from cat. Kathleen, Catherine, and Karen are all etymological derivatives of the name Caitlin. All women who have helped me along in my life. And now, here's Caitlin. Actually, it's 4Ks. It's 4Ks. Thank you very much. So Katie, somebody goes, CCC, replace the C. It says four, it's 4Ks, not 3. It's 4. Here's the 4th right here. Don't go off the deep end, please. Oh, KKKK. KKKK. I love that song. I'm such a dork. I love embarrassing myself. Like, I knew I was about to embarrass myself, and I went for it anyway. So, this crap makes me extremely uncomfortable, and it freaks me out. That was a slip. Yes, it was. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. It's so freaky. I let go of everything else. I let go of all the other crazy stuff. I let go of all of it. And when it came down to it, oh, here's another creepy piece for you. Is another thing that was said is one of his phrases, this guy, was I will return when spring's shadow trails. You guys saw me put that in my bio because I was mean. I was really mad. I just want to mess with people. I was so mad. And I also see people within the media do that. They'll play on their conspiracies just to piss people off or make money or get attention. And I have a better conscience than that. Thankfully, I couldn't live with myself doing it, so I left it up for a couple of weeks, and I was like, I can't do this. But the phrase was, I shall return when spring's shadow trails. And since I was about 18 years old when my pop died, which is also, it was in my life when I had just a break from reality. I was in a really bad place. That was spring was when it happened. And I have had major transformations in my life. I am not saying that they are definitely correlated. I'm saying that my life is a fantastical opportunity from every angle for me to lose my shit. Me being sane after everything that's happened is like the least likely thing. I should not be okay. I am. I'm looking at all of it and saying, it doesn't matter how much you piece together. It sounds crazy, and it is crazy. So I rebuke it. I say, nope, that's insane. So, like I said, spring has always been a season for me that there is major change, which is completely natural, which whether you're a numerologist, an astrologist, or a naturalist, Satanist, Wiccan, a lot of those religions would look at my life and say, bro, you are just on that wavelength. Like, you are in tune. And so I guess to some degree, hopefully I am. I attribute that to my transparency and my honesty. I have a really good heart, and I try to stay true to life. I can't speak to anything existential, and I can't speak to religions. I can't speak to any of those things. I can speak to the facts, and the facts are that life is pretty simple. And from what I see, people overcomplicate it, and then they screw up their life, and then they blame someone else. And by the time they see it, it's too late. So I'm smart enough to look around and see that it's almost too late. And if I don't get let go of the crazy shit, that is done. So I've been delusional. I'm done. I look at Kate. I love Kate. She's sane. I'm sane. And her name being Kate does not have to be, because that was like the last thing I was holding on to of my craziness. I'm like, let me go all the way. Well, her name is Kate. Oh God, can't be with her. Must be some big conspiracy. That's insane. Insane. I agree. It's insane. So that's why I was like, you know what? Time to chill out. kind of chill out, because all the evidence speaks to the contrary. It doesn't speak to the idea that I'm a criminal or that I'm insane, because I'm not. But it definitely speaks to how poorly my life has gone up until now and how off kilter things have been. Understand that I've really been fighting to figure life out and get my head on my shoulders. But I had to fight a hell of a lot harder than anybody really should. But I'm letting you know that really is what happened, was me fighting for my life. And I had to fight in my own head because I had a lot of people in it and a lot more people trying to get in it. I'm not out of my mind. I'm finally in my mind, coming back to reality, ready to start talking about regular things. It's gonna take some time, but a lot of people that need to catch up, because what just happened with me is damn near impossible, but it happened. I'm sane. Welcome to reality. My name is Jimmy Soroka. Welcome to the broadcast. So, Rice Krispie Jojo says, I think you're simply misunderstood. I am very misunderstood. Me not being able to communicate didn't help that. Literally having an inability to communicate, now that I see I had one, and still have one to a degree, I think makes it a lot harder. I think it's a lack of social interaction. And I know that's obvious to most people, but I was always told I didn't need it. You know, I didn't need friends. People were bad, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not. I was just smart enough to stay away from people who weren't healthy for me. I have to find healthy friends. I grew up in an unhealthy environment around unhealthy people in my town and everything like that. My mind knew better. When you put a big mind in little circles, it'll go crazy. I'm finding my circle. Finding my circle of life, you might say. I have never told anyone that I have a registered charity. Thank you, Miha. Welcome on, Jimmy, says Chauncey. Right? I am finally in the audience of my own show. I'm finally present to my own show. Thanks, Tossed Out. Have a good day. What's up, Pub? Pub goes, hello, Jimmy. And thank you for your patience, everybody, as I talk through that. Thanks for hopefully you see that I'm not crazy or narcissistic, and I really have just been lost for a long time. Thanks for listening. And seriously, thank you for listening and then being patient enough with me to get through to the end of the conversation. It means a lot to me. Or the end of my little speech. I have a million of them. My goal is that by the time I'm my mother's age, my biological mother, I talk 1/10 as much as she does. I talk way too much. And it's mostly because I'm unheard. But I don't have to be heard anymore. I don't have that need. I'll be all right. There were also no wire scams that I committed. Wire scams were committed against me. Oh, man. I was nice to people. I tried to help people. I got scammed, not the other way around. And then they used that money to literally try and, Jesus Christ, I am dumb. I have been dumb. Also, I did not do online fraudulent fundraising. I did not do fraudulent fundraising. Will die for Fazoli's. I have to say that one's funny. Big Old Tractor says, you're like a lost puppy on a busy interstate holding a sign that says, we'll lie for... Oh, I thought you said we'll die. I said we'll die for Fazoli's. Because I was going to say, that's what it feels like. It's like I'm dying for food. It's insane. You talk. Happy Free says you talk and don't even know what you say. Sometimes. It's fair. That's a fair statement. But it's not really that I don't know what I say. It's just like I don't know how to communicate it. The English language sucks on communicating most things. Seriously, if you try to get intricate or deep about life, the English language is super, super just not good for it. Like literally, listen to how I even just said that. It doesn't matter how articulate I try to get. It's like you can try to describe something super intricate and articulate in the English language, and you'll still sound dumb. That's just the English language. I like the English language. It makes things easy, but it's also makes it very difficult to have conversations about like deeper things in life. And part of that, think of it like this, like the word fail, right? To fail, you ever hear of failing an experiment? Like you can't fail like there's no such thing as a failed experiment. It's trial and error. And yeah, those are partially appropriate words. Russian ironically is a better word for that. But it's the English language, it frustrates me. It frustrates me. I'm literally going to have to learn another language just to communicate better. And I will. I'm gonna finish off Russian. I'm gonna get myself fluent once we're a little more organized. As far as where things go from there, I finally see the world is at my fingertips, and I got all the time in the world. When I finally saw that I didn't have to rush and that I had time, well, everyone else always told me my whole life, you don't have time. You got to figure it out now. Da, 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 da. Now that I know I have time, it has freed up my stress that I can think clearly and actually process things and get smarter and start to get educated. Mia, there are videos that say otherwise about a million other things too. It doesn't change whether or not it's true. It's literally just a lie. I'm over it. Who drinks coffee in a big gulp? Jimmy fucking Soroka. What are you drinking in? I don't judge you. What do you drink coffee in? Nothing wrong with whatever you drink coffee. Why do you have a problem with what I drink coffee? What am I drinking? Coffee. Hurricane Harvey fundraising also didn't happen. As in 100% not how it happened. And also not what happened. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to explain things to people. And I'm not going to satisfy a false public with one more apology video. I've had a million of them. And all it does is that the next one comes out and then we got to, hey guys, let me reference you to a website with 14 different apologies. Like it didn't happen. I'm not going to apologize for something that didn't happen. I've already done that. Apologize things for didn't happen. That didn't happen. Because I was gaslit into it. And I was people put fear into me and say, hey, oh bro, your life's gonna be over if you don't admit to this, if you don't apologize for this. I didn't do it. Well, it doesn't matter. People think you did if you don't apologize. No, that was a great way to get me to confess to a crime that I never committed. I'm not doing it again. Fuck you. I am so sick of these scumbags that have literally controlled my life for this long and put fear into me and pushed me into a corner to get me to confess to shit I never did. I'm moving on with my life. Doesn't matter how many views you get. Your channel will go down for committing a crime against me. That's how life works. And I think in the long term, people talking about 1 million views. Are you kidding me? That's pussy shit. And I think we all know that. Kate, I'm standing up for myself. Thank you, baby. I love you. Positive. Thank you very much, Kate. Yeah, is 1 million views, like people don't realize how small 1 million views is. And if you think 1 million views is a lot, think about it this way. How do I say this? There's millions of people that have a channel that make millions of views, right? Like you could have a channel that gets a video with 1 million views, and I could go on YouTube and I could find millions of channels that get 1 million views. People are fighting for clout while talking about me. Like if you're making your platform on other people's names, people are just tail riding. And I'll tell you what, as I continue to be the center of attention for the right reason or the wrong reason, it still doesn't change the fact that it's still about me. I don't like that it's about me in these ways, but that's still how it is. Chris, this isn't me saying I'm better. All right, let me touch on this piece too, because Chris is saying, he goes, you can't get 200 people on a shitty app. I'm starting to realize that people actually do misunderstand me. I really thought that you guys knew what I was talking about and you just hated me and that was it. And you were just trolling me. I'm actually starting to believe that you truly misunderstand what I'm saying. I am not competing with someone when I say you getting 1 million views is boring. I'm not competing. I'm stating a fact. I have 82 people in my room. I'm not competing. I don't have much to brag about. I'm in agreement of that. It doesn't change the facts. You know, like, it's a fact that getting 1 million views is not a big deal. So why is everyone fighting me on that? Like my social credibility does not change whether or not what I'm saying is true. And I think that's part of what people struggle with is they look at social opinion and then just totally ignore facts. The fact is that getting 1 million views is not impressive. The fact is that getting 20 million views that's pretty damn impressive. In my opinion, that's top of the game. And if you're not at the top of the game, where are you? I'm at the bottom of the game. But I'm humble. I might not sound humble, but I am humble about it. I'm not, like I know what my capabilities are and I'll get there. But when I say 1 million views isn't a big deal, it's not a competitive statement about me. It is defensive. But the part of me that's defensive is because people are committing crimes against me and lying about me. Like that of course that would be defensive. But don't correlate. Here's what I think a lot of people are doing. They correlate my defensiveness about crimes being committed against me, like of defamation and all that other crap. They correlate that with what I'm saying about the views. And then you think that I'm being defensive, saying, well, I like my views, or I'm looking for views, or I'm insecure about, there we go, is that I'm insecure about not getting views, or that my channel is small. Guys, it is not a game of popularity. It may seem so. It is painted for you that way. It's not a game of popularity. It's a game of transparency and authenticity. Honest people win. They do. I know that's hard to believe. But the people who think that dishonesty is what gets you to the top of the game and to the top of the ladder are the people who end up at the middle with 1 million views. Guys, there is a reason why people are so obsessed with me, and it's not just what happened between me and Kate. And it's not any of the other stuff they're gaslighting and making up as they go along and trying to throw together and make it look true. They just don't like me because they're jealous. The people that are talking about me, okay? The people that are talking about me, beyond stuff with Kate, it is jealousy that they have masked with everything else just to make it look more true. And because I put all my focus on that, that's why things went to the wayside and that I look guilty. And sometimes I sound it. But that's my point, is that unless I explain myself, people are going to continue to misunderstand me and think that I'm like just trying to defend myself out of guilt. It's not out of guilt. Like, how about you have people lie about you all day long and literally commit crimes against you and tear up your past and bring out a whole bunch of people who will then also lie about you to try and build out lies about your past, to discredit you. That's all they're trying to do. It's called defamation, trying to discredit me. And in return for someone willing to discredit me, they will offer, hey, you're going to get views. You're doing a good thing because he's a bad person. Hey, you're going to get social attention. We believe you. We don't believe him. Come protect yourself. Come defend your name because he's attacking your name. It's an age-old game. And I'm not interested. I'm really not, because it's deplorable. It's absolutely deplorable. And it's degenerate. And it's at best middle class. And as I sit here and I tell you what I'm worth, if I'm truly going to show you what I'm worth, it's not going to come through engaging with people who maximize middle class through class action. It's called class action for a reason. I've done my research. If I'm really going to be worth something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to get people on my side for the right reasons. And anybody that's not, just give them their money and they can walk away, because that's all they really want. They want money and social attention, and they're willing to lie about anything else to get it. All right. I'll pay my dues. You know, rats want the cheese. Dogs want the scraps. I finally realized if I don't feed the dogs, then what's going to happen? They're going to bite me. They're not my pets, but they will not leave my porch. So, I think part of the reason they won't leave my porch is because I keep feeding them. But I fed them too long. They're never actually going to leave. It's like any animal, And yeah, they're human beings, but they're acting like animals. And the more you feed that animal, well, guess what? They're going to keep coming back to your door. And now I have a whole bunch of human beings acting like pets. And it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. And just because I'm a dick about it doesn't make me wrong. I don't like how it is, but I'm not going to be nice to people who are literally shitting on my name and like just making shit up about me. I'm going to call it how it is. I'm going to move on my day. I'm not talking about my trolls. Somebody just said, feed me. No. Okay. We are talking about, I want to make this clear. Guys, I am no longer blanket statementing. I'm not stupid about this anymore. I'm sorry if I just said something and I didn't say it well, so it hurt your feelings. I mean it. You're all freaking out. I'm sorry if I said it in a way that hurt your feelings. I'm not talking about any regular people here. I'm being very specific. I'm talking about very specific people. People making videos about me. People trying to get social attention over my name. People trying to discredit me with their platform. If you're in my comments and you're just trashing me in the comments, or you have something to say, if you're a regular person and you're this is what I used to be rude to passersby. I used to be rude to people who saw me and didn't know me, or they saw past content and now they're coming to crap on me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I took it out on you. I felt so attacked. And so I was just like, right? It's not your fault that you misunderstand. Because there are people painting things in such a way that are going to gaslight you and confuse you. Not my fault, not my responsibility. The only thing, I'm not responsible for cleaning up a mess that someone else made with my tools. Do you understand? Like, someone took my hammer, which is made to hammer a nail, and they bashed someone else over the head and then framed me for it. So, or they bashed themselves over the head and said I did it. I'm not responsible for that. It's not my fault. But when you do come into the broadcast, I will do my best to have that conversation. So where do I go from here? I'm making it very specific. Specific people, like literally 3 or 4 or 5 people in the entire world who are crapping on my name. And I'm not even talking about, like, there's some girl on YouTube that like said I was like in her DMs or whatever. Regular conversation. That's you want to talk about just trying to get attention. That's just trying to get attention. I'm talking about the people who are legitimately making an effort to ruin my life, just so they can get their dick hard. Okay? We're not talking about anybody except like 3 or 4 people that exist on this planet. Everybody else, most of you are normal, or you're scared or afraid or angry or whatever. I recognize your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Selena Gomez. Yes, Selena Gomez. It's not on you. Say you're fundraising for others, but didn't. This is my point. That didn't happen. Like, as in, it didn't happen. There are things that are actually completely made up. And as I continue to make poor social choices, explain. I'm legitimately listening. Thank you, Mia. I'm legitimately explaining. Finally, I finally have the ability to explain. I've never really had it. I've never really been good at explaining, and people knew it, and so they would just keep blowing it up and being like, "Haha, he can't fix it because he didn't know what to say." I'm waking up to life. So let me explain. I would have make poor social choices. Social, not criminal. Poor social choices, or I didn't necessarily see the potential implications of my actions, such as visiting a complete stranger in the hospital on a whim. Spent a week in that hospital, being there for that girl. Period. Somebody needed extra attention. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus anymore. I've also learned that me stepping out of my environment here's the thing, what I never recognized, because I am not an attention whore, and I am not someone who needs that, like, it's like trying to get something for themselves or take somebody down. I've never been that kind of person. And the only time that I ever really stepped into that arena, and even like I said, saying things on my own broadcast, it comes from my actual life being at risk, because it's not a part of my personality. But I'm finally coming to see that my life's not at risk, and I'm calming down as I go along, and I'm getting better multiplicably, as opposed to, oh, hey, let's get one more thing and we'll get him riled up more. It's not working anymore, because I'm seeing that as my past comes out, the only thing it's doing is showing how poorly I was raised, and how most of it legitimately isn't my fault, and how if anything does happen to me, it's really not going to be that bad. But there's a whole lot of people that some bad stuff is going to happen to if they keep chasing after my past, because everyone, for the most part, knows there's not much to find. So, but there's a lot to find for a lot of people who are involved in my life, who I had been there for. So as I made poor social choices, it became more believable about stories that have been made up about me. And so people began to make more stories, and it began to trend. It became popular to make up stories about me for the sake of social attention. And that's the game. And then essentially what happened between Kate and I sealed the deal on people believing every other bullshit thing about me. And it only happened because Kate and I were completely controlled by other people, and then pitted against each other by someone in our own house who literally had an entire lifetime of practice on doing it to their own parents. Okay? Now, apologies have been made. We're trying to move forward. Nobody deserves to be doxxed any further. And as you guys say you're seeking justice, all you're doing is tearing up other people's pasts who are genuinely trying to move forward. I'm protecting people, not hurting them. I'm not protecting bad people. I'm protecting people who have legitimately turned another leaf, partially because of our involvement with one another. And I'm not just talking about one person. But what you're going to end up doing is pulling up the past of a whole bunch of people who actually are living better lives now. And it's not cool. Doxing, exposing. I've said from the beginning, why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? This isn't okay behavior. Addressing anything financial. That's my point, Mia. What is there to address financially? Mia, I'm sorry. See, I get frustrated when people misunderstand me. Anyone gets frustrated with misunderstanding. But I guess I'm not communicating that well, so I apologize. There's nothing to address financially. I received gifts. Those gifts were for my survival. I would travel different places, or I would want to go help people or whatever. The gifts I received were not associated with any, they were not particularly associated with that. I received gifts, and then I made a choice with where things were on what I was going to do. It was not the other way around. It was not, hey, here's a mark. Let me go and do this, and maybe I make some money. It was, people were helping me live, and I was stupid and irresponsible, and I wanted to be Mother Teresa. So instead of utilizing the help I was getting just to survive and then get on my 2 feet and make my money from YouTube or have super hearts, I kept jumping the gun and tripping over my own feet and go and help people. And those people then turned around and are currently crapping on me. And it's mind-blowing. It's because it's all for social attention. And they're mad at me. And it's not all for social attention. It's also because they're mad about what happened between Kate and I, and then more than likely, any belief that anything else is true other than that. And what happened between Kate and I helps sell the story on the false idea that anything else is true. The story is very simple. Me being so calm about it, that's not sociopathy. That is called pragmatism. It's called I've woken up and I'm not letting people mess with me anymore. Because me letting that happen is part of the reason why it's blown up so big. And a lot of people were telling me that in the beginning. I just made sure not to learn it too late. We're here now. Things are good. And it doesn't matter how much gaslighting occurs. These people are only destroying their own platform. And the reason I know that's true is because now I'm staying focused. People don't believe me because they don't believe me that they're doing that to themselves, because in the past I would focus on it, which would then build, traction for them, which in turn then the platforms would not be in my favor because, it's a lot about growth and money and da da da. It's officially apparent that I will make them more money and do social good and, commit to positive behavior, and that's a part of the conformity that I agree to, because I've now come to understanding and a consensus on why that's a good thing. Whereas before I was very confused and lost. And what happens to the lost sheep? Eaten by the wolf. I'm not getting eaten. Shepherd's protecting me. And we're not talking about Jesus. I'm just talking about society as a whole. As people come to see that I'm a decent human being and I'm pretty normal, all this gaslighting will actually backlash and be kind of mirrored back to the people trying to do it to me. And all these channels now being taken down that have been talking crap on me, whereas before there wasn't a thing I could do, is absolute proof that the tides are turning in my favor. And a funny part about that is people will tell me, they're like, hey, prove it or show screenshots. That's called doxing. Can't do it. Just gonna have to trust me on my word. Or just, like I said, watch things as they play out and you'll see. Mia, I can't be going into it. And I don't know if you know that. This is what I mean. Here's the tricky part, is the more that I get into this stuff and I keep talking about it and talking about it, it causes more confusion. It's not actually helping anyone. Mia, I know that you want answers, but I'm going to ask you to just look at me and accept it. Because, guys, here's the thing. The answers you're looking for are very simple. I sought out to help people. The money was not raised. How do I say this? Raised. Like, I didn't receive support or contributions for the sake of going and helping people. I decided to do that with it, which was actually a poor decision because I was not financially stable myself. That mixed with other people hating me for whether it was the social attention I was receiving or the Mother Teresa lifestyle I was trying to live, when people could clearly see that I wasn't happy myself. I think a lot of people, more so than wanting to hurt me, they just wanted to see me be happy, and they could tell I wasn't. And then the more that I appeared that I was, or I faked that I was, I had peace in my heart, and I still do. But I think a lot of people, they confused my peace with happiness. Or I mean, I'm sorry, I confused my peace with happiness, and I thought I was happy. I was at peace. I now recognize that because being here right now, I'm extremely unhappy. That's actually okay. I don't want that, right? Not preferable long term, but I'm at peace. And so I'm at peace with myself. And so now the next thing is, okay, what is happiness? What is happiness? What is joy? Because I always found my joy in the Lord. I always found joy in the church for me. And now I want to find my joy in a more complex and intricate fashion. I want it to involve so much more than just simplistic. Like, I want love to be simple and my joy to be simple. But there's so much more to life than the simplicities. I would love to engage with the intricacies of life, and I want more joy. I want more happiness. I think on some level I've outgrown my happiness. I've outgrown my joy, like the simple stuff. So it's not necessarily that I'm unhappy, but now that I see that my cup got bigger, it's a piece I missed. It's a piece that everyone convinced me wasn't true. Is that my cup was full, and then I got a bigger cup. And when I poured, this is the best metaphor I have. When I poured that cup into the next cup, it was, only 1/4 of the way full, which is a much bigger cup. which I should have only traded out for one half as big, which is what I have now. I got really miserable and confused. And I was like, what, I must be missing something. There must be a problem. I must have an illness. No, I was seeking out a bigger life. That requires a lot more work. That requires an open mind. That requires suffering and sacrifice and acceptance that life is going to be hard for a little bit until I fill that cup too. So it's definitely not rambling. And I know it's not rambling. I know it's not rambling. Guys, here's the thing, people who are crapping on me at this point, I'm finally realizing, and we're not talking about people asking questions. I'm having a conversation with people who are actual bad people. The people who are talking crap on me, they are people who are either just as smart, smarter, or maybe a little less smart than me, and they're lazy. And they have a vendetta, and they're angry. So they're trying to take it out on other people. I can relate to that from my past. Those people need mental help, and a lot of it. Not me. I got baited. I chased tail with people like that for a long time. And I said I never would. We're talking these people destroyed my life and stepped into it, just like lit on fire my entire environment when I didn't even have an environment. Like I barely had an environment to begin with, and cut me off from my family, cut me off from my friends, cut me off from my finances, cut me off from my ability to get a job. And we're talking when I was homeless in a car with almost no intelligence. And I mean, these people literally tried to kill me. So I'm sucking it up. I'm moving forward, but it is how it is. And thankfully for me, now that Caitlin and I are moving forward, no matter how much you gaslight my past, I'm not in it anymore. I don't fucking care what you have to say about me. It's not like the people you're talking to or the things that you're doing. Those people were always against me for the wrong reasons. You're not changing anything. You're just letting people know that people don't like me, which is something that everyone already knows. You're wasting your time. And you're committing a crime by defaming my name and using it in your content. It's, how do I say this? It's not a parody. It's just straight up defamation and lies. It's okay, at least as far as my knowledge, it is okay to make those kind of videos when they are true. But gaslighting the truth and actually creating lies. I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to someone who's been making videos about me for a very long time, whose channel finally just got taken down over 14 different copyright infringements that I reported all at once. You're going to lose your channel and your income, and most likely all credibility and trust you have around you. I never had credibility. I'm not afraid of losing it. I never had friends. I'm not afraid of losing them. I don't have anything to lose, and you ain't taking the truth from me. The people coming after me have a lot to lose, and they're gonna lose it if they keep committing crimes. Me repeating it, it's not about a vendetta. It just feels really good to be able to say it and know I'm right. I'm not chasing after it anymore. It's just really, really cool and trippy after 5 years of fighting to finally know I don't have to fight anymore. I won. I would have won much sooner. Things would have been more simple if I had just sat back and let it happen. But I was afraid to let it happen because I was afraid that someone else running off with my story made it true. But I'm smart enough to know that it doesn't. I'm good. Hashtag winning, says Dreamcatcher Vibrate. Facts. Mia, I don't even know what squirrely means. And this is part of my point is everybody wants an answer that fits them about somebody else. And part of the reason that I do not let other people I make sure that you can only find out the truth about my life from me. It ensures that you end up on my platform. That's marketing. And it's also very strategic and smart because it ensures that people have to come into my ring if they want to fight. That's smart. It's not cowardice, especially when, think of it this way. I know I'm small. I am small. I'm really, really small. Right? Now this is the social media realm. We're not talking about the real life realm. All right. None of the people talking about me would ever show up, and they never have, and they never will. They're terrified of me in real life, and not because I'm crazy, because they're weak. That's how life works. They don't like me because I'm actually strong as a human being. All right. And I also come off slightly soft at the exact same time. And that pisses them off. And it scares them. It's just about being sensitive as a guy. It's a smart move. Girls like it, guys like it who are healthy. It's a better way of coming off. I'm not always nice to everybody, but I try to be tactical about it. White van days. Don't want to go back there. Do not want to go back there. And no, it's not narcissistic. This is my point. Guys, we are only talking about, it is not narcissistic to have a conversation about the people in your realm, like in your life, or my life. It's so small. Like the circle of influence of people talking crap about me is actually really, really small. It's like 4 or 5 people, and then everybody else is bandwagon. They're regular people. You're regular people. I'm not mad at you. I'm not bigger than you or more special, but you are not someone who's behind the scenes. So you don't actually know what's going on. You're just judging from the outside. I don't judge you for that. I'm not mad at you for that. You literally don't know what's going on. And people are waiting for me to tell them what's going on. I've already done that. Nobody wants to hear it. So I'm not explaining myself anymore. And you can't force me to explain myself. You could literally put me on the stand. I'll say no. Send me to jail then. I'm not playing this game with anybody anymore. If I go to court, it's going to be over legitimate stuff, and I'll open my mouth about legitimate stuff. But if someone literally looks me in the face, said, "Did you commit fraud?" I will say, no. It's not a game. It's not, well, can you explain this? Yes. Will you please? No. If you want to turn me into a human troll, do it. But that's the only thing you're going to get. You cannot force me to lie. It's not going to work. You're not going to force something into my mouth that's not real. I'm a very strong person. You helped make me that way. I gotta pee again, but this is a lot of fun for me. So I really appreciate everyone being here. I'm finally getting my due. Like everyone said, karma is coming around. Absolutely right. There's just a lot of people who had no idea I was on the right side of karma. I tried telling you. I really did. And there might be more coming. There might be more coming. I'm still going to fill you in. I'm on the right side of karma. Long term, I am good. I promise. But I want you to be good too. And part of making sure you're good is realizing you have no idea how to tell the difference between what actually happened and what didn't, mostly because of what other people are saying. But I can't really talk about it all that much because everything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law where it is claimed that you are innocent until proven guilty. And yet it appears, although, even though I am innocent, there is no possible way I am. I'm a little confused here. I don't feel like I'm in America because I'm being treated as though I'm guilty when I'm innocent. So, except for what happened between me and Kate. I'm not a narcissist. I'm sorry for what I did to Kate. We had that conversation. Everything else is a lie. It always was. I never denied what happened between Kate and I. For those of you who have been here, you know that. Why did I deny things that happened in the past? Because it didn't happen. I still deny them. They didn't fucking happen. I'm not denying what happened between Kate and I. Absolutely terrible. And yet, in the most sick, fucked up way, it happening between us proves my innocence about everything else. Why? Because I'm admitting it. And it's not because it's like so undeniable. I could literally still tell you that it's not true and no one would figure it out. Trust me. Because oftentimes the mass public will believe whatever you tell them if you blow it up enough. Look at what's happening to my name. It's sad, but it's true. I'm not saying I have the ability to do it. I'm just saying that's how the public works. I've seen it and I've fallen for it myself. You have the ability to be smarter, so be smarter. But it's not on me to make you smart. And I was taking on that responsibility. And then when people use the intelligence I imparted to them against me for their own validation, finances, and whatnot, now I keep my mouth shut. This is me talking about nothing. I have not talked about nothing forever. I used to talk about a lot of stuff and I tried to help a lot of people. I can't do it anymore. I could do something else. I just, first I got to get over my trauma. Oh, okay. And last but not least, if it's hard to believe that I'm quote unquote innocent, can we please acknowledge the fact that I'm being accused of literally like 17,000 things, like all at once. And I've been out there for 5 years of my life. And even before the bigger people were making videos, there are plenty of dozens of thousands of people who knew. Why do you think the cops do nothing? Because I haven't done anything. That's how life works, because the law is actually fair. Yeah. I never believed that. I never believed that myself. But as I sit here and I finally wake up to life, I'm like, well, shit. The world's not all that bad, and it's not that scary of a place, and everyone's so afraid, and there's not all that much to be afraid of. I remember, I still remember sitting in Wilkes-Barre and sitting there like this, like, oh God, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. You know why I didn't come? Because everyone saw that I was just like a scared, miserable fuck. I was just a scared kid, and I did not know what was going on. They were fair. Thank you for your fairness, because now I get a chance to turn around and thank you. And that goes out to a lot of you who've stood in my corner, mostly silent. I was angry at you for your silence, but you know what? You were just protecting yourself, and that's a healthy decision. I would probably do the same thing if I was in your shoes. Oh, there's another thing. There is one creator that I have not looked at that everyone keeps telling me about. Who the hell is Onyasin or Onisin? I don't know these people. People like, you know, the people who are like not all that great keep comparing me to him. I have no idea who the guy is. Don't know his deal. And I'm afraid to look because I don't want to create a mental comparison. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like if I look at him and I'm actually similar to him, for example, there's another dude who like was one of the first people to ever harass me. And I looked at him and it blew my mind and really created a bad, you know, it hurt my brain because I could familiarize myself with the person. And that wasn't good because the person's a criminal. But who is he? Onision. He's great, says Pamela. He's not my twin flame. It's not funny. I don't know who the person is. You can, this is what people do. This is what people do. This is what I mean. When I'm not educated and I don't know what's going on, I will simply ask in a polite fashion for people to fill me in. And then when I don't know, and then I say something wrong, I do something wrong, they turn around and say, "Oh my God, how could you do that?" Like, I asked for your help. No, let's just gather together and make fun of them like we're in youth group. Like, this has literally been my life story. It's just people gathering together and making fun of me while I'm uneducated. They spin me in circles, and then when I run off a cliff, they say, "Oh God, look, he's suicidal. Help me. Fill me in. Quit leaving me on the wayside and then saying you're innocent, because you're not. You're gathering and making fun of somebody, and then when they feel completely outcast and hurt and miserable, then some kid goes and shoots up a school. It's not on you. You're a fucking bully. I'm not. It does make me mad, because as these people bully people into a corner that they don't like, then they wonder why the hell this shit is happening. Grow the fuck up. You're terrible people. Talking to me the way you talk to me, you don't know what the hell I've been through. You don't. And it's way worse than anyone could imagine. So fuck off. And to those of you who are treating me like a human being, thank you. I appreciate it. I treat people like people who treat me like people. I always have, and I always will, because that is a healthy choice. I just made sure to get all the unhealthy people out of my personal environment so I could breathe and think for myself, because I was a pushover. And I was taken heavy advantage of. And now those same people are turning around and talking shit on me. Fucking scumbags. I just want to move on with my life. People are terrible. You cannot make this stuff up. You can make up a lot about me, but you can't make up what happened to me. It's unbelievable. So, please, I will ask you politely, who is Onision or Onison? Because far before I was mean to anyone, I was super nice to everybody. They still did the same thing. And I mean, I did not talk like this at all. I was just a nice guy. And people were still mean to me. Mia says, you answered me like 90%. I appreciate that. Ask Kate later about the Disney movie Up and Squirrels. Oh, the dog. Guys, here's the thing. I tangent on my own because I feel like it. I promise you. I'm following my feelings. I'm not following my thoughts. I'm not bipolar. I'm not boom, boom, boom. I don't have ADD. I'm enjoying the broadcast, and I'm embracing my feelings and sharing myself. And I have a lot of feelings, and they go in a lot of different directions because life's been a little rough and it's been very interesting. So, as things come to mind, I share them immediately. It's not that I don't have a good mental track. I do. What, Kate? When we're in real life doing regular stuff, do I do this?
No, not like this.
No, I barely tangent at all in real life anymore. We talk about regular stuff. We do regular stuff. But think of it this way. If it appears as though I'm that way, I'm dealing with 110 people at once. I'm also dealing with a whole lot of people who I know, literally hundreds of people that I know for a fact are watching this outside of my own broadcast. That's not narcissism. It's been done for years. It's freaky, it's creepy, and it's a crime. But welcome to my life. So I'm talking to a lot of people. And it's going to look like the 100 people in this broadcast that I probably look a little off or a little crazy, but I'm talking to a much bigger audience. I'm also talking to the people I'm thinking of and talking to the people who are watching from the recording, watching from someone else's channel where this was ripped and put on as a crime. I'm trying to think about everybody, which is a really, really hard thing to do when I can barely think about myself. I'm learning self-care, but I'm also really, really enjoying being here with you, even when we're talking about difficult stuff. Like, I'm on top of this, and it makes me excited because I fought really, really hard for my emotional, psychological freedom. And now that I have it, I'm so excited about what I'm going to do with it. And it is hilarious to watch all these people trying to talk about my past and then think it changes the present. It doesn't. You can't affect the present with the past. It's not how life works. That's how history is made. But we got children trying to write history. Leave it to the professionals. Leave it to the people you never hear about because they're mature enough to leave it off screen. Onision. I don't know Onision. You say he lost his platform and you're next. He's on Twitter. He's verified on the dude's verified on Twitter. I don't know who he is, but people were telling me. And the one thing I did see, like I said, is I went on Twitter and I saw his profile, and he's verified on Twitter. And I was like, I thought people were comparing me to like some devil. Like the guy legitimately has a platform. Even if he's not a great person, he's apparently doing something right. I don't know who he is. Go research him yourself. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to. Thank you. Tracy says, not everyone was mean to you, Jimmy. Come on. Thank you, Tracy. Yes. If I am using everyone, like if I'm using definitive dualistic statements, meaning like if I'm all the way one side or the other, I'm sorry for that. When I, just like anyone else, when I get like emotional, just the same as I start using big definitive statements. Not everyone was mean to me. Most people were. There were a couple of people who were nice to me, and I should have focused on that. And I'm essentially making an excuse for myself. But at the same time, I hope we now see how impossible it really was for me to actually handle how things were back then. At least I have a roof over my head this time. That's the big difference. If I had a roof over my head back then, maybe I would have been able to handle it. But I was a little delusional. A lot delusional. Kayla says, you still in lockdown? We are. I believe so. I don't know about the whole state. I'm expressing myself, says Georgie. Yes. And thank you for being here, those who are. Okay. Here's another thing we get to address. Someone says, they go, the logical solution would be to stop going live, right? If you're hurt so much. Let's address something that a lot of people struggle with. Maybe it'll help everyone. Hopefully it'll help everyone. How is stopping something a solution? That's called a resolution or closure. That's not the same as a solution. Closure or a resolution is not always a solution. Oftentimes people see closure or resolution, most of the time for the sake of their ego. They want to know they're right or believe they're right and have someone else do something that helps convince everyone else or themselves that they are accurate. You're seeking false closure, a false resolution. There is a very large confirmation bias going on about me. If you don't know what confirmation bias is, give it a Google search. This isn't WebMD shit. This is actual stuff. And people are starting to know about it. I was reading about this stuff when I was 12, right? You guys are learning about it. Those of you, if you've already known about it, good for you. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm just saying I've been on this train for a while, and I'm finally starting to realize that I am the professional in that, in that particular environment. But what is that really worth if I don't know how to apply it? Just knowledge. So thank you. I'm not the professional. I'm not. Thank you. You didn't do anything. One thing you did do was keep me accountable about my dickishness. I'm not the professional. Okay. I have a lot of knowledge about it. Haven't applied it well. Confirmation bias. So people that think they're right when they're not. Okay. And confirmation bias is essentially, I think I'm right. I look like I'm right. The evidence says I'm right. I've been following this for a long time and it must be how it is. And now that I'm okay and we're good and things are going really well, a lot of people are angry that they are wrong. And I mean, we're talking millions. That's going to be a hard sell. Thankfully, God is good, and I will have enough time to prove it. it will also, as a lot of this unveils, the part that people are not expecting is by nature, karma, you might say. The coming events will reveal the truth about the past events. And when everyone gets their closure, and they will on some level, by that time, Caitlin and I will be very wealthy and happy and well off and have live a good life. And all the people who are currently angry will probably have their answers. Just know that you're asking for them too soon and too quickly. And if you were looking at things that are out there about me, you're not actually getting your answers. You're getting like a quick, hey, we're going to lie about this and hopefully it gets us some views. They're the stragglers. All right. The stragglers. You want truth? Sit here in this broadcast and I will be working through it piece by piece, more than likely. Even though I say I won't. I probably will. Allergies. Yeah. A lot of rain yesterday. It's your content. Here's the thing. And I'm only sharing the rest of it with you because it's helping me work through it. This is actually an environment where I feel propelled to work through it without me getting lost in my own head, because this amount of social pressure puts me in a position psychologically where I'm going to actually work through it rather than just lay in bed and conceal it in my own mind. And it's like I'm forced to face it, which is something I want. There's not a lot for me to face personally, like that I've done wrong, but there's just a lot that's been said about me and a lot of things people are saying that's very hard to just imagine if what's happening. Okay, say I'm telling the truth. Imagine what's happening to me was happening to you. Would you be on screen? I want to be, because I let the lies about me get too far and they got into my head. I'm getting them out. It's just going to have to be done on screen. Yeah, definitely. Get a humidifier for a night. It'll help with the eyes so much. Thank you, Mia. Thanks. And even my snide attitude. Thank you, Mia. Like, look at me. I was not like that before. It's a defense mechanism that I built out based on like the environment that I was in and the people I was surrounded by. I was surrounded by entitled middle-class people. And so that was the way I behaved. We oftentimes become the culmination of the people around us if we do not have enough we want community. Human beings want community. We want to get together. That's natural. But I had too much social malleability. I wanted to fit in too much. And it wasn't about insecurity. It wasn't about validation. It was about loneliness. And loneliness is a completely natural feeling. We're made to be around each other, most of us humans. So when we're not, it can be really hard. That's a perfect, poster child speech for quarantine. It's still a fact. There is no thievery. There's 0%. Zero. You like that? You like that? I used to do that shit too. 0% thievery. This is part of how I attracted the crazies. 0% thievery. 0. Oh, I'm at 15%. Do you know where my charger's at? Could you grab it? Thank you. I'm going to have to shut down pretty soon. Give me 1 second. Okay. Well, I'm at 15%. I have to take a poop. And my phone's moving slow anyway. I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you very much for coming in. Feel free to follow, share the broadcast. As you're coming into the broadcast brand new, I'd appreciate a share over on Twitter. And hopefully I see you over on Instagram. You're more than welcome to join us. Instagram is a fun place for us. Twitter will get fun as people get nicer, which they are. And I will see you soon.